Welcome to Miss Cindy's Kitchen. Tonight I'm going to make a variation on my banana bread. And rather than walnuts, I'm going to add in blueberries to make it an all-fruit muffin. But rather than having it as a loaf, I'm going to make it a muffin. So anyway, I'm going to make mini muffins as well as standard muffins. And I have the muffin papers, both the minis and the standard size. And for this recipe, we'll also put in a recipe card for you. But the first thing we're gonna do is, I'm making a double batch. So we're gonna take 2 sticks of butter, which is a total of 1 cup. And we're gonna put that in the mixing bowl. And scrape off all the butter off the wrapper. Sorry, I don't have room to show you the butter wrapper.
That's okay.
So just save all the goodies from the wrapper. And I put that in there. I don't think I've ever made this as a single batch. Maybe 24 years ago, maybe, but it's always nice to have homemade banana bread, and then you can always take some into work or take to your neighbors or have for quick breakfasts before work. So anyway, so that is the first step. So 2 sticks of butter, and then we're going to have 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup measure, and sugar. Gonna mix that up. I like having the sugar in a pour pitcher because it's convenient for coffee as well as for recipes. Plus it keeps the sugar mostly dry. The bottom of the sugar bag got a tiny bit wet on the kitchen counter, so some of the sugar clumped up a little bit, but it's okay. Now it's flowing a little better. Got it. There's that one little rock in there that wants to get right at the spout. The original recipe for this called for 2 1/4 cups per batch, which was 2 1/2 cups of sugar. And bananas are very sweet. So I honestly don't think you need all that sweet. And as I did with my previous video, I had to stop and plug in the mixer. I've taken to unplugging things when I'm not using them, because there's been so many horror stories of electrical surges during storms and such. So anyway, while that's mixing, we're going to get our eggs ready, because they're the next thing to go into this. And we will be having 4 egg yolks, 4 whole eggs. I think I had a Monday at work because my brain's starting to go short-circuiting. Okay. Alright. So that's 2. And each egg is about 1/4 cup. And this bowl holds 1 cup. So wish me luck so it doesn't spill over. Alright. It all fits.
Oh, look at that. You got it right up to the rim.
Yep. And
you have 2 eggs left.
Yep. So anyway, I always like to crack my eggs into a separate container, so that way if you get shells from the eggs in there, it's much easier to isolate them and take them out than if I were to dump them directly into the mixing bowl. So let me go ahead and scrape down the mix here. And you want to let your butter mixture cream until it's light and fluffy, like Gabriel Iglesias. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get the dry ingredients ready. And for the dry ingredients, we are going to have a total of 5 cups of regular flour.
5 cups?
Yeah, each batch is 2.5. And the yield on this is 3 large loaves or lots of muffins. So that's 3 cups and 4 cups and 5 cups.
Five cups of flour.
Yeah, it's the number of the day. And to this, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of soda. Oh my goodness, I need to get my new box out. 2, and then 2 teaspoons of salt. 1, 2. So that's done with that. I'm going to stir this up with a fork. Use a fork, whisk, whatever implement you choose to get your dry ingredients incorporated. And make sure you like and subscribe and share this video. And leave us a comment. We always love hearing from you. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and let that mix a little bit more, and I'm going to go ahead and get the buttermilk ready. Fresh buttermilk from the store is best. The egg, you can substitute buttermilk by putting in like a lemon's worth of lemon juice into a glass pitcher and measuring milk up to a cup, and then the milk will curdle. But I prefer just buying buttermilk. Okay, let me grab this pitcher here. So, I'm going to do 1 cup of buttermilk. Get that ready. There's that. And, wipe my fingers off here. Okay, so we've got our buttermilk, we've got our eggs, and then we've got our vanilla. So we're going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla to this mixture. That's just 2 little glugs there. That's an official term. Alright. To that, we're going to add our eggs in 1 at a time. So 1. Then just let it get incorporated a bit. And then add another one. Let that mix in really well. Add in the next one. What? Alright. So let me go ahead and stir this down. So you always want to stir down your ingredients several times while you're making something, because it helps to make sure that everything is evenly incorporated. Alright, and then we're going to add in the buttermilk and the bananas. So I'm going to add in the buttermilk first. Alright, and for this, the recipe for the single batch is 2 to 3 bananas. So I like to use around 5 or 6 for the double batch that I make. And it's best to get bananas that are really freckled and starting to turn brown. And if you have a lot of flaws on them, like bruises, you can just scrape those off. If they're not that big, you don't need to worry about it. But just the same, I can take them off. And then that way you don't end up wearing banana like I am. Alright, so I'm going to turn that off for a minute while I get the bananas ready. So, the other day at the store we had an option of mostly green bananas or mostly overripe bananas. So I got some of both. Because it took a couple of days for the bananas to get ripe. And these ones are just waiting to be made into banana bread. And I thought, you know what? I want to try something different. Do put some blueberries in it because I have a lot of frozen fruit. So I like to get these little membranes off, these little stringy things, because I find they just are annoying. They don't really serve a purpose in the recipe. So there we have 3. Alright. So we'll put you on hold while we get the bananas peeled, and we'll be right back. Alright, and we're back, and we now have 6 bananas in here ready to mash. And this plastic masher does pretty well for ripe bananas. But if your bananas have a little more heft to them, you can always use a traditional potato masher, the metal kind. So let me go, I'm going to actually grab that one, my metal one. Alright. Alright. Work smarter, not harder. Got to use the right tool for the job here. So now, the star ingredient in banana bread, we have bananas that are really ripe. And anytime you have extra bananas, you can always make banana bread, banana muffins to use them up, freeze it, and then that way if you have an event to go to, you've got treats you can bring, or friends stop by, you've got some nice bread to go with coffee. So I always like to keep some in the freezer for that reason.
It's really coming along.
Yeah. Get it nice and mixed without making too much racket here. Alright. Shake that off. Shake it off. Just kidding. Let's turn this back on. Now we're going to put this in the mixing bowl. Let it just roll on in. Plop, plop, plop.
Hey, I got some off the side.
I know. That's why I like to use a smaller bowl, but I couldn't find it. Good grief, I got a lot on this.
Yeah.
Alright, I just cleaned the bottom of the mixer and the counter, so I'm just going to scoop it up and put it in there. Alright. This is the hazard of having a busy Monday at work. Both your brain and your motor control is kind of shot by the end of the day. Alright. Okay, let's see if I can do this without making any of it worse than this. Alright.
Yeah, but apparently you are short-staffed at work, so
Yes.
like everybody else in the United States.
You know, you'd think with people, so many people out of work, you wouldn't be short-staffed. But I don't know. I guess not everybody wants to work. They just want to be unemployed and say they're looking for work. That's my secret theory.
I'm sure there are a lot of people that are still looking for work, but
Yeah. There's a lot of jobs out there, honestly. If people just want to look for jobs, they can find jobs. Okay. So I'm going to add the flour mixture gradually to the mixing bowl. You got to do it gradually so you don't end up having the flour go all over the place. It may look cool, but it makes a mess. So make sure you've liked and subscribed and shared this video, and leave us a comment. We love your feedback, and let us know if you've tried any of our recipes and how they worked out for you, and any suggestions for future episodes and constructive critiques. We like constructive critiques. And if you don't like what I'm showing you, there's lots of other stuff on the internet to watch besides me. But I do appreciate you watching my channel, because I enjoy cooking and helping others learn to cook. It's almost there, and then we're going to mix the blueberries in by hand. And I've already got the oven at 350 degrees, all the way warmed up.
well, that is really coming along.
Yep. 350 degrees seems to be the standard for baking. When we're baking at work, we almost always have the oven set to 350 because Plus or minus a few degrees, it pretty much suits most baked goods. So, I gotta drop this down. This is too full to scrape down properly.
Now remind everybody, you don't cook for a living. You basically cook.
Yeah, I cook for fun, I cook for home, and I volunteer in the kitchen at church. Because we make all of our baked goods for our coffee shop. That's free to guests. Alright, so anybody attending service can come in and have a free coffee drink and a yummy pastry made by the kitchen team. Alright, let's go ahead and get our pans ready. And I think that's pretty much done. This is going to make 3 dozen muffins plus. The amount of plus can vary a little bit, so I'm just going to get the muffin tins ready. So, get some nice muffin papers in there. If I can get the lid off. Alright, I find that when I'm tired, my motor skills kind of go down. Kind of like a battery at the end of the day, kind of fading. Alright. Alright. When you use your brain and your hands a lot during the day, by the end of the day, you're a little tired. Alright. So here, we can... Logan, you want to come help put some papers in the muffins? Oh, he's doing homework.
Yep. He's got his ears in.
Well, we can pause while we fill up the muffin papers. Because I know that's not that exciting, so... And we've got 3 dozen standard muffins ready to go. And then just 1 dozen of the small muffins because I'm not entirely sure we're going to need the second one. But I got my liners, got my pan in case we run short on space. So, the easiest way to clean off your beater is to do this. Kind of at a low speed, just to get off some of it. And then you kind of got to tap it off. Whoop. Trying to not make too much noise, but I gotta get off the goodies off the beater. Alright. So I'm gonna put that over there. And we're going to add in the blueberries by hand. This is about a cup and a half. I just got some blueberries from the freezer, put them in a colander, and rinsed them off to kind of thaw a little bit. So it's not an exact science, but I would say just slightly more than a cup. And these will turn the batter blue, so you don't want to overmix. In fact, I think I'm going to use the spatula instead to just gently incorporate them. Scoop and turn. Scoop and turn. The more you stir, the more purple your batter will become. Which isn't a bad thing, but you don't want to bruise your blueberries either. It's better with fresh, but frozen works as well. This is just a nice variant that I decided to try. Everybody loves my banana bread, so gotta change it up every now and then. Try something different. Alright. So, the easiest way to measure out muffin batter, or cupcake batter for that matter, is with the scooper. This is just a standard cookie scoop, and generally 2 of these fill up a muffin pan or a muffin cup, because you don't want it to go overboard, because you'll end up with really tall tops and they just don't look even and consistent. So just aim for 2 level scoops per muffin cup. So we're going to go ahead and fill up the rest of these, and then we'll be right back. Alright, and we're back, and so far we have filled out 3 dozen standard muffins and 1 dozen mini muffins, and I think we're still going to have even more than this second dozen of the minis. So I'll probably have to get another vessel out to hold the batter.
So you just do 1 scoop for the minis.
1 scoop for the minis, and it still fills it up to the top, so these muffins may crown more than the standard muffins, but that's okay. We can work with that. Alright. So with these, I'm using more of a shallow scoop. With those, I use more of a, you know, fuller scoop. Alright. And what other vessel should I use? Let me think about that for a minute. I have all kinds of bakeware.
You got a bundt cake pan?
I don't think there's enough for a bundt cake.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah. Alright. Well, let me find something else to put the remaining batter in.
Oh my gosh, you do have a lot of batter.
This makes a really big batch. So just hold on and we'll be right back. Alright, and we're back, and I found a 6-cup muffin pan that I'd had in the garage for a while. It's Pampered Chef stoneware. It got a little marked up because it spent a little bit of time in the garage because I lost track of it until I was cleaning one day, and I'm like, oh cool, more stoneware. You know how when you leave stuff in the garage after you move?
It's that time of year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was cleaning last Monday since we had a holiday, and I had to stop when I filled up our recycle can and our trash bin because cleaning the garage by myself, I was able to make sure I got rid of, you know, it was mostly just cardboard and stuff that had just been sitting around for too long.
In all fairness, you went out there without even telling us you were out there cleaning the garage.
Yeah.
I go, where'd your mom go? She's out cleaning the garage. What?
Well, you know, I had a day off of work, and I had a burst of energy, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go get this done before I get sidetracked. And I got a lot done.
And if there's one thing I know, it's like once you get started on something, it's just better to stay out of your way.
Well, I was on a roll. We hadn't really looked at it in a good couple of months. And with the holidays and stuff that we ordered and extra packaging, and it just needed to be gone through. So... there you go. Got the last one. So, this is going to be, I'm going to scrape down the bowl so I make this last muffin cup fuller. And get that blueberry in there.
Ooh, nice.
So basically with muffins, you want to make sure you don't overfill the muffin well because the muffins will crown and they will often stick to the pan. And then you end up with some mushroom-shaped muffins that look kind of weird. And if you were to make cupcakes that way, they're harder to frost. So, anyway, I have the first round of muffins in the oven. I set it for 20 minutes, but the minis usually finish in about 10, and then the other ones in about 16 or so minutes. So, since I'm standing by the oven, I can smell when they're done. So, while we're waiting for that, just make sure you've liked and subscribed. And share this video to all your friends and leave us a comment, and we'll be right back. Alright, and we're back, and the mini muffins came out sooner than the full-size muffins. So we're gonna have Logan taste one of those.
The mini muffins. Dahlia's hoping that you'll drop it.
Dahlia's hoping I drop it.
That
dog.
Please drop it.
Banana blueberry. What do you think?
They're good. Especially when it's nice and warm.
How do the two flavors go together?
I can't taste much of the blueberry. It just mostly tastes like banana bread. But I don't got a problem with that.
Yeah, I think some have more blueberries than others.
Well, I mean, you want
They're still real good.
You want it to be an accent. You don't necessarily want it to be overpowering with blueberries. And...
Yeah. So
They're good.
Anyway, and the one observation I did make was that the minis cook quicker than the full-size muffins, so just keep checking them. And then the pans that I had on the bottom shelf in the oven scorched a bit on the bottom. So these were on the bottom shelf. So they really scorched. And the tops, not so much. But these ones were on the top rack. And look, the nice even browning. And I even used the darker pan. Normally darker pans mean you get more of a scorch. But anyway, so if this happens, you'll just realize that you have a batch of muffin tops to work with. And that's the best part of the muffin anyway.
Yeah.
So, and then you can always just cook half of your batch using only the top rack. And then when those are done, put the other ones in.
Well, normally we just cut the bottoms off and then just use the...
Yeah, that works.
And dip the rest of it in the milk and anyway, so...
Yeah. So, anyway, thank you again for joining us. And make sure you have clicked the subscribe button and liked my videos. And share them to all your friends to show them this yummy recipe that you're going to bake for them. And make sure you leave us a comment. And come back for another video soon.
Thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen. To get more recipes like this one, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Share it out to your friends, family, neighbors, and leave us a comment to let us know how this recipe worked for you. And don't forget to hit that like button. Again, thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen.